Well, good evening. Welcome to the program, Soni Irabor Live. And tonight I have three great guests. Two of them in Lagos, one in Lagos, but far away from the studio. Two in the studio. One is UK-based, one is Lagos-based. And then the other, of course, is by Zoom. And that is Dr Boniface Chizea, whom I'm going to introduce first before I bring the rest into it. Well, Dr. Chizea is a member of a team that is putting together a lecture, and we're going to go through that sooner than later. Then, of course, we have Mrs. Baarong. How do you pronounce Baarong? Baarong Tony-Uranta. She's also involved in the putting together of this lecture, and we're talking of the Tony-Uranta Foundation, Memorial Lecture, because there's Tony-Uranta Foundation, okay? And then, of course, we have Dr. Dayo Olomu. Please let me have that book, because this book is, you see, this book, I'll be jealous about it. I'm in this book, because he talked about me as a 42-year married man and his wife. But the truth is, my 60 life lessons for success and significance. We're going to talk about Nigeria, the need for unity in diversity, which is the reason behind the memorial lecture. Then we'll dovetail into other areas about what Nigeria should be going through and not accepting it. What we are going through right now is that Nigeria is in a state of fear. I pray not, but may not be so. If things get better, that's what we always say. Anyway, first, Dr. Boniface Chizea, how are you, sir? Can you hear us?
Today, yes.
So, welcome to the program. All of us who are in the studio, you are with us by Zoom.
Yes.
And can you tell us more a bit about this memorial lecture, please?
Well, okay. Like you said in your intro, it's a memorial lecture. We are friends of Tony-Uranta. You know, we are all on the platform he started. That's a WhatsApp platform, which he started. And of course, we've known him outside the WhatsApp platform. But of course, what now pulled us together was the WhatsApp platform, which he started. He has two platforms there, and now it's three, but again, broken up a bit. So that put us together. And then the idea came that this guy has been so impactful, you know, during his lifetime, and that there's a need for us as his friends, you know, to come together and do something about his legacy. And nothing better than for us to do than to begin to look at fault lines and so on and so forth, and begin to proffer ideas and suggestions, you know, that would probably help us, you know, to find the way forward. So I think that's exactly what the lecture is all about. So, but first and foremost, the lecture is for us to begin to make sure that we keep the memory of our friend, you know, sustain it, keep it going. And then in the process, because the person he's been, the values he's pursued, the interests that have engaged him, and we saw that we should also now address, by way of the topic we selected, you know, to look at really our fault lines and see how, you know, we can navigate and continue to remain as a country, a nation. You know, some will say we're not a nation, but we leave that for now. So I think that's essentially what it is. So, and we are doing this. We are doing this because we want to, in effect, create awareness and bring to people's consciousness that this program is coming on Saturday at Nigerian Soul International Affairs, and it's going to start at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I think that's what it is. So people will watch and they are reminded. And we expect that you know, the hall is going to be full, so that we'll have something celebratory, something impactful, something memorable, something that we'll enjoy. You know, so we look back at it and we thank God for His blessings and mercies.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, we have Baarong Tony-Uranta, who is the lovely wife of the late Tony-Uranta, who believes strongly in a one united, indivisible Nigeria. Hence the memorial lecture. So can you throw more light on that?
That's right. Thank you very much for having me. My late husband believes it was a nationalist, and was a die-hard patriot. And he believed in the uniqueness of Nigeria in our diversities. And these things should be celebrated. And it could be, and they're a powerful tool. If we can collaborate them together, you can build a great Nigeria. So instead of these ethno-religious fault lines that we were seeing today being stretched beyond the whatever, it's like something is about to happen. Tony, in his lifetime, he believed in one Nigeria and was always there believed in building bridges. That's what he kept on doing, building bridges between the north, the south, the east, the west. I mean, one time the BIC Consultancy Forum gave him an award because of his bridge building antics. He was a facilitator. Now, this memorial that we're having is a celebration of his life, yeah, to commemorate his memory, and, you know, to build on his legacies and the ideals for which he stood for. As you said, he believed in one Nigeria. He loved the diversities. My husband could speak 3 different languages. I mean, the only reason he couldn't speak...
That's true. How many languages
fluently. He could speak Igbo, Yoruba, and his native language, Efik. The only language he couldn't speak properly, which he was planning to do, was during youth service in the north. But somebody used his name to get his to change his own posting, and ended up posting the man who was a Lagos boy back to Lagos, and that's how he missed out on going to the north. But anyway, it didn't stop him. He's reached across the Niger and has built bridges to people across. I mean, the Sultan of Sokoto, the Emir of Kano, and so many other many of our leaders. And he did this with one reason in mind: to bring Nigeria together. We should have this cohesive unit. And these are differences. They're a basket of opportunities that, you know, you managed well, can bring out the greatness of our great country. Look at a place like America. There's so many different cultures embedded in that nation. And it's so beautiful when you see them all come together. So we can do the same thing here in Nigeria. We have the north, the south, the east, and the west. I don't know if you remember the handshake across the Niger.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
It was very enlightening for so many people. All of a sudden, we had a very quiet middle belt. Now, all of a sudden, the middle belt is coming out stronger and saying, hey, we are here too. We have a voice. We have a voice. We have a voice. This does not favor us. We want it this way. And it's good to have individual voices coming out. And that's what my husband did in his lifetime. Went around the nation, getting out he fought for people who couldn't fight for themselves. He was a voice to the voiceless. And he gave a vehicle, and he gave momentum to different causes. There he was from a sick bed. He now formed JPWIN, Justice, Equity Initiative, and Peace Initiative, JPWIN. He was not doing too well. He now formed #WeCare. That is to the military, believing that these are fallen soldiers that should be taken care of. You hear the stories of how a man is killed in battle. All of a sudden, his wife is thrown out of the barracks and all that. And these are you take care of your men on the front line. You don't take care of the front line, then you and I are goners. Who's going to protect us? Yes. Like now, in the recent weeks, insecurity has reached fever pitch. I mean, and it's getting really, really bad. Now I hear that the VIPs have been, all the policemen have been withdrawn from VIP duty.
So they are now exposed.
So we are all exposed. We are all exposed. So these are the things he fought against. Of course, he was a Niger Delta activist as well. He believed in the what he called the Niger Delta restoration agenda. That's what fueled him. That the Niger Delta is not getting its due. It's not being given its due. Look, we have illegal mining somewhere in the north, but it's always in the south that you hear that illegal refinery has been destroyed, illegal refinery has been destroyed. Why can't we now begin to mine our own fuel? And you now tax the different people, tax the way it's been done in the north, where they're mining gold, lithium, californium, and I don't know, maybe something.
Suddenly I realized that they said Nigeria has a lot of natural
resources. Now, funny enough, the oil belongs to everybody, the government. Yeah. But the soil minerals belong to the community. It's crazy. It shouldn't be. Now these are the kind of the fault lines now that are dividing our country and pulling us in different directions.
I see your husband's passion in you. This is the force which she was just quietly releasing them. Now I'll come back to you.
Okay.
How does this set into this whole thing? Charity begins at home. You must come from a good family. And then, by the way, Dr. Dayo Olomu turned 60 and wrote interesting thing. He said, my 60 life lessons. Tell us more about it.
Thank you very much. One of the things I've always, Soni, thank you very much for inviting me. I think, let me start from this premise. I believe that the greatest legacy that we can have that we can leave behind is to write a book as a black people. If you build a house, your children can sell the house. If a street is named after you, the government can change that street. But if you write a book, nobody can change it. Anytime we talk about leadership, we talk about anything, we look towards America. And I always say, just imagine if Nelson Mandela has written a book on Ubuntu leadership. Globally, everybody will be talking about it. When they talk about leadership, they will also say there is also Ubuntu leadership from Africa. That means I am because you are.
Okay, that's the meaning of Ubuntu.
Meaning of Ubuntu. This is what Archbishop Desmond Tutu introduced me to. So when I was to turn 60, I was looking at, do I want to have a big party? What do I want to do? What legacy do I want to leave behind? And I thought I'll write a book, and it took me 3 years to write in about 13 cities. And the whole idea is that we can pursue success and significance simultaneously.
But then, how can you achieve it with unity in diversity?
Uncle, that's where I'm coming from.
Yes.
In terms of unity in diversity, in UK, everybody is talking about EDI, equality, diversity, and inclusion. It's a big thing. They are trying to involve everybody because they've seen that there is unity in diversity. Diversity is a big, I have done so many research globally. In fact, I'm the chair of Black on Board in UK. And what we are trying to do is to get black people on board. Because so many research have said that when you have different diverse opinion on a board, you achieve more. If you have different people, you achieve more. Because when you have the same old people, the same kind of people, you look at things the same way, you are not going to get fresh ideas. When so it is very, very important. There will be no growth, but we've seen it. Look at before, we don't talk about youth, but now anything that we are doing, they are bringing youth into it. The mayor of New York, we never believe a Muslim 38-year-old become mayor. Sunak, Hindu,
Prime Minister
in UK, can become a prime minister. We have so many black MPs. They push for diversity in politics, and we can do the same thing because we need to find a way to collaborate, because in Nigeria, collaborative is the core of our heritage. When we are young, we don't talk about Muslim, Christian. I celebrated my 10th birthday at the bus garage in Yanokwaja, selling ice water. You put it in a box, in a bowl. When you sell it, everybody, you put this in the water and you sell it. People drink from the same cup. They are not looking about religion, ethnicity. They are not looking at anything because they are tasty. And it is not who is selling it, whether that person is young or old, you give them what they want. But so now,
that's the real meaning of commonwealth.
Exactly, because we are together. And the most important thing, Nigeria cannot afford to fail. I delivered a training for Kogi State House of Assembly members in Ghana. And we went to meet the Speaker of the House of Parliament. And he said, Nigeria is 230 million. Nigeria must work. Nigeria cannot afford to fail. Where are we going to go?
Was always pushing.
Yes, where can we go? We are not up to 1 million in UK. You can see what is happening. We are not up to 10 million in Ghana. Look at what is happening. So we have to find a way to work together. We are in a challenging moment. But irrespective of our differences, you know the way it is. If 10 people come together, they are going to have different opinions. But the ultimate is to find a way to work together and bring everybody's opinion on the table and see how we can work collectively for the common good.
Well, Dr. Boniface, I hope you are there. You've heard what the other two have said. You said the ball rolling. Now, with the challenges facing Nigeria.
I can react if you want.
Yes,
I can react to what they've said, and then we can go from there.
Yes.
Yes, well, I think that the gentleman talks about, withdrawing the place, from the politicians and so on and so forth. Well, somebody tells me that it's going to be a tall order because the money that the police makes from the payments they get from these sources is quite substantial. And it's common knowledge, it's a fact known to everybody, that the police is underfunded. So I think that is going to be the challenge, going forward. So I just thought I should say that, I agree with the gentleman that you write a book. A book is a wonderful thing to do, but of course, we're not reputed. Don't say if you want to hide anything from a black person, you put it in a book. But of course, you can legacy embedded in the book is going to be there forever. So, but Mandela wrote A Long Walk to Freedom. I have it on my shelf.
Yeah, I have that.
I've not read it.
Yeah,
I'm surprised if he didn't talk about the Ubuntu, the management procedures and so on and so forth, the challenges. I thought he might do. Then if you want, I will address the issue of our diversity and what we need to do, to bring ourselves, make sure we have unity. The important thing is that let's not bury our differences. We are different. And that's why we have a religious system that's called federation. We're supposed to have each component part of the federation, to a large extent, develop on its own terms. And so we collaborate. So we should have, ab initio, we should have a weak center. What we have today, we have a very strong center. The presidency is very powerful. He can do and undo. And then the resources, that's why we have resource control. So you generate oil from your backyard, and they tell you it belongs to the entire country, like Baarong did say. But then you mine, from up north, and it belongs to the community. I think so you can't have peace if there's no equity, if there's no justice. So I think that we need to look at that. And that the bottom line is that we have a federation. We should better start operating that federation properly. That's what is very important. But having said that, it's going to be a tall order because those who are benefiting from the system as it is today, they will not just take a walk from it. So the way it is. If you're enjoying the system, you're benefiting from it, then you'll be fighting to make sure that you retain those benefits you've been enjoying. So I think those are a few points I thought I should make.
Yeah,
you can ask me now if you want to.
There are solid points. Before I go on to Baarong, I want to draw the three of you, your attention to the whole essence of the challenge or challenges. What are the tripod, or what's the tripod doing? You have the executive, you have the National Assembly, legislature, and then you have the judiciary. And they're supposed to be independent of one another and be respectful of what it takes to be, like the diversity we're talking about. That's where it should start. Coming from each of you, and then I respect your own, you respect mine, and then as a tripod, you should be able to, I can see your body language.
No, there's no independence now anymore. I mean, the last couple of years, especially the last election, we lost all independence of our different institutions. It's like everything.
But we must go back.
We must go back. I want to hit something that was raised by Dayo and Dr. Boniface, talking about South Africa.
Yeah.
I think the turning point of their push for the end to apartheid and the new governance actually came. What the turning point was when the corporate South Africa came together, and they now were formed the body that now pushed for the change in governance, because the businesses were all suffering. The international community had shut down businesses, all businesses in South Africa, all those big institutions in South Africa, companies. I'm trying to remember the top of my head, but you know them. They were all affected. So they were all shut down. So the leaders of all these conglomerates came together, and they now approached Thabo Mbeki and co. in the famous meetings that took place. It was there that this thing was actually worked out. It wasn't their own parliament or national assembly. I think we should borrow a leaf from that.
So necessity is the mother of invention.
Exactly.
Something happened and triggered a reaction.
Exactly.
And that reaction has necessitated the action we now got from South Africa.
Yeah, exactly.
But how can Nigeria survive?
Well, don't forget the different countries, America, the UK, different countries boycotted
during the apartheid.
They boycotted. So the companies, so the corporate, the business world, the corporate South Africa, if I can use that, was suffering. They were bleeding. And like I said, that was what pushed, give them the impetus to now push, go negotiate with the Thabo Mbeki and the ACN or whatever, and find out how we can now resolve this. Dialogue, come back to that word that we love so much. Dialogue, and it was actually a dialogue that brought out Nelson Mandela, and well, the rest is history.
I think from our point of view, from Nigerian point of view, and we have to be realistic here, if there is a way the presidency is structured, the power has been centralized. We have governors who are emperors. So when you have things like that, if the power is centralized, if you need money, you have to go to the executive to get money. It is the governor that controls the House of Assembly. It is the government that pays the salary of the judges. Because if we have weak institutions, there's going to be problematic. A judge in UK, they are free, they look at the issues, they give the judgment, everybody follows it.
Dispassionately.
Dispassionately. When you work for a local authority in UK, you can't take a gift that is more than £5, like cake. If they give it to you, or wine, a bottle of wine that is more than £5, you have to declare it, because there is governance. When you have weak governance, when you have weak institutions, it will be difficult for everything to work. So when you have, that's the reason why we can't have all those, we know on paper, we say, oh, there are 3 arms of government. Okay, let me give you a very good example. Look at what happened with local government authority. They went to Supreme Court, there is a judgment, there is a law that we will give the money will go straight to local government. We are still trying to implement it. That's the simplest thing, that they discovered that when we give money to local government, the money goes to the governor. It is the governor that allocates. So the people on the streets struggle. And I would like to end with this in terms of governance, democracy. If you go to Surulere, okay, we have senators, they have constituent allowance. We have House of Rep members, we have House of Assembly members, we have governors, we have local authority. All of them have gotten money. If they can do what the former speaker did in Surulere, just Surulere area, you will see the impact of their former House of Rep in Surulere. Just imagine if we can replicate that in all areas of the country. What do you think will happen?
Okay, that's a good question, but let's keep that question till we're going on a short break. We'll keep that question till after the break, and then there's a lot more to talk about. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Emotions are high, people are angry, people are in tears. I notice.
All around me there are people, many of them trying to salvage whatever they can salvage.
It's Ismaila Mohammed, whom was shot by one of the officers of the Nigerian Army. This is the hole where the bullet penetrated, and that's the second hole.
Right behind me are members of the Nigerian police force to alert the protesters that they've gone past their time.
They came out with reinforcement, basically. All right, at the moment, do roll on now. Awenda.
Welcome back. Right, we are dealing with 2 issues here. The need for Nigeria to remain very united in spite of its own diversity. There's no need for all the insecurity we are going through. Unless you're not a Nigerian, you shouldn't go through this, actually. No. And then, of course, there's a memorial lecture about a man who loved Nigeria so much that he gave all he thought was the importance of being united in a diversified environment. named Tony-Uranta. Tony Ipriye. How do you pronounce the medium?
Ipriye, you're right,
Okay.
you're right.
Right. Well, there are lecturers and there are people who are going to talk about it. Can you enlighten us before we go to Dr. Chizea?
Yes, on the 6th of December, that's next week actually, Saturday, we're having a memorial lecture at the NIA in VI. Now, this is a way to commemorate the memory of my late husband, Tony, and to build on his ideals and the legacy which he stood for, as we said, a one Nigeria. And bringing together, I mean, he had this unique talent. You could bring people from diverse walks of life, diverse ethnicity, diverse faith, and you could bring them together in one place. I mean, I used to marvel, I can only deal with one kind of person. All kinds of atheists, Muslims, Christians, agnostics, all together, people on this far right, far left, and you could dance with all of them. Now, so this lecture is, especially in the time like we are now, where we're so pulled apart by this ethno-religious crisis all over the country. I mean, things are happening in Lagos that you never imagined would happen at all, even down south, and what's happening in the north. The burning of churches and the genocide that's going on. Some people would like to hide and say there's no genocide going on, but hello, people are being killed and churches are being burnt almost every day, and nothing is being done about it. So I'm happy about this withdrawal of VIP policemen, although it will have a negative effect on the police force who are grossly underpaid. It might have an effect on them. But
it's another issue.
Another issue. And of course, that's another issue. But maybe our leaders, like to put it, our senators, our legislators will now begin to think, let us do something about this. Let's do something about this. So this lecture is going to talk about the issues at stake, ethno-religious, whatever, breaking down religious barriers, promoting interfaith partnerships, showing how we can use our differences to build one another and become a greater Nigeria. Imagine what's happening in America and what you just talked about in Great Britain, where a black man, a Muslim, is now the mayor of this and that.
New York,
Imagine now me, from a Tam woman, as they will call me, or a Calabar woman, I go and become a senator in Kaduna. Now, it happened before, in the 60s, yes. It happened in the 50s and 60s. Why can't it happen now?
We had a House of Mayor in Enugu, you know. To get Nyesom Wike to become the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory was a battle. It was like only a northerner should become the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. It's like only a northerner. But you know, I think we're making progress. We seem to have made progress in some ways and have taken back steps in other ways. I mean, the other week I heard I saw on the TV, a man was sentenced to death for killing a herdsman. Meanwhile, he was fighting for his life. I haven't heard about herdsmen being prosecuted, being arrested, or being... I think the law will have to be looked at dispassionately.
Yes.
For the law to make sense,
yes.
And for, the judiciary to actually act with justice in mind.
Independently.
Yes, independently. So a lot of things have to be done. Dr. Chizea, question to you will be, who are the speakers? Because from the list of names, the diversity reflects it there. Who are the speakers? Do you know them?
Yes, I have them here. But let me make some comments about.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, the fact that you talked about independent institutions instead of strong people, which has been one of our problems. And I don't know if you followed the argument recently, whereby the judges had a conference and the band, sang "On Your Mandate We Stand." There's been some controversy about that. So you go to National Assembly, they sing "On Your Mandate We Stand." So it tells you that's so much about the independence. So you're supposed to have the legislature, the judiciary that's supposed to be independent, and they all go there and begin to hail the executive. So, and the reasons they're obvious. So if the president appoints the chief judge, it has implications. So so we have to look at these things. And if you really want to have a stable federation, one of the things we'll have to do will be to find a way to navigate around this shortcomings. There's so many things we could do. You can't. If somebody appoints you, then your allegiance is to that person. So I think that we need to look at that. Now, as to the speakers, I think as is common knowledge, the keynote speaker is our friend, Dr. Patrick Otomi. And then we have our friend on the platform, Dr. Umar Ado. We have Dr. Kola Additional. We have Dr. BC Akin Alabi. I have my friend, Senator Sheikh Husani. We have Anchor Briggs. And then we have Dr. Shino Gayton. And then I have my friend, Dr. George Etomi.
Yes.
And then the lady Ambassador Nkoyo Choyo. So I can do that, like quite an assemblage, gathering of experts, So I think that's assembled here.
Right. So there are issues now we are boilingly trying hard to make sense of. But let me now go back to Dayo Olomu. You've given some analogies, but then you also wrote a book. You say you are 60, and then you now came up with 60 funny ideas. Can you, I say funny, sorry, I didn't mean to trivialize it, but can you expatiate on it?
The whole idea, like I said, I wanted, it's about legacy. I meet young people and they ask me so many things.
Legacy. Wow.
When you are 60 and you are not thinking of legacy, if you work in the civil service by 60, you'll be asked to go home. So let's be honest.
You'll be asked to go home.
So I just look at, and it starts from values. What are your, because it is our values that define our person, our vision, how we see things. So I help people to first of all look at their values, apart from goal setting and all of that. I call it the 7 Fs. If you can master these 7 Fs, and the 7 Fs are faith, family, fitness, friendship, fulfilling your purpose, finance, and fun.
I was waiting for that finance. If money no day, no go work.
Exactly. But when you look at all of that, if that is the basics, it is based on your values that you now build your goals. When you achieve your goals, that's when you find fulfillment. Because let's talk about success. Success means different things to different people. But if we narrow it down and say, achieve your personal and business goals, fine. But no matter what we do, we must also look at making a difference. All these things we are talking about Nigeria, just imagine if all our leaders are selfless and they can just move from success to significance. Significance is about service. It's about legacy.
Like success to significance.
Now, the reason why I did not use that word success to significance is that I have done it in my life. Because if we say that success to significance, you can wait till 60 and just say, no, I'm not a millionaire. When I make millions now, that's when I can start my child. How did I start Dayo Olomu Foundation? You may not remember. I started Dayo Olomu Foundation because I had the opportunity. My dream is to put together 1,000 people in a room, mentor them, coach them, give them resources. You provided that platform.
Okay.
On the 2nd of April 2016. That's how Dayo Olomu Foundation is going to be 10 next year. And I've given people scholarship. I've helped so many people.
Empowerment Forum.
Yes. So, and I offer mentoring to 1,000 youths. How to set goals. Then I wrote a book. I gave them a free copy of the book. That is what gave birth to Dayo Olomu Foundation. If I did not do it then, and I said I'm going to do it when I become millionaire. So you can pursue success and significance in mind simultaneously. But if you can't do it simultaneously, pursue success with significance in mind. If you can't do that, you can move from success to significance. But ultimately, just know that it's not just about making money, but it's also about making a difference.
That's right.
We see so many people, they make so much money. Look, at another time, we're going to talk about the difference between Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Steve Jobs made so much money, and he did not give, like Nigerians say, shishi to anybody.
Okay.
But Bill Gates made so much money and decided to give virtually everything away. He invited about 100 billionaires in the world and said, we've made so much money. Let's sign an undertaking that we are going to give 50% of our money to humanity before we leave. How do you explain that it was Steve Jobs, it was Bill Gates that eradicated polio in Africa?
Wow.
Yes, it's foundation.
New to me.
So that's the whole essence of that book. That people, so there are different lessons, my life lessons about growing up, adversity, resilience, all those things. And what I'm
you see, what we're saying right now, sorry to stop you there, is the fact that Nigerian youths are going through exactly what you're saying now. What you went through, God knows how many years ago,
yes,
they're going through now.
They're going through it, but
it's like we are going backward.
We're going backwards.
We're going backwards. The challenge with Nigerian youth is that, okay, I wrote a book. We are not having a lot of role models on television anywhere. I wrote this book and I dedicated a chapter to you. When I was to look at marriage, I mirror my marriage after your marriage.
Hey,
when I was 17, 18, you and Auntie Betty, you MC Posting Musical Jamboree. 1982, I was 17, 18, I'm 16 now, so you can just imagine. You have a daughter, you just have meat pie or sausage, she'll be sitting at the back, you finish talking, emceeing, you go backstage, you do things together, and all of that. I was able to see that. Now, when I was looking at leadership, I found Pat Utomi, who was my mentor.
Incidentally, he's going to speak.
He's the keynote speaker.
These are people that shaped me and influenced my thoughts. And I am now a blessing to so many people. I've been voted as one of the most influential black people in UK. I'm celebrated. When Nigeria 60, in the book that the President Buhari launched, I was featured as one of the most influential 600 Nigerians globally.
Oh, that's impressive.
And so I am well known in UK, but it's not because of the book. I got
Buhari
inspiration.
Is not that popular in Nigeria. Buhari is not that popular in Nigeria.
I mean, then. But what I'm just saying is that I was able to get inspiration from people to shape me. Where do our youth get inspiration from that will shape them?
That's the real issue.
That's the real issue. They're getting their inspiration from the wrong places.
Uncle Soni, I will give you something that happened yesterday. I saw I took a train from Lagos to Abeokuta yesterday, and I was coming back to see my grandchild. And I was sitting out with a 22-year-old, and he believed that all money, they are dirty money. Everybody you see, they've done fraudulent things and all of that. You can't make clean money. And he said, 22. He doesn't know where it's going or where it's coming from, and it's 22. And it's just about to finish university. Who are your role models? Role model, I don't know what you're talking about. 22. He says, I don't know what you're talking about. Role model, I don't know. What do you want to become in life? I was so clear about where I was going in life when I was 17. And I get crashed into the album launch of Charakota. Tell me if you know the city called Sodom. That's how I started. And my goal was to become a promotion manager for one of the biggest record companies. And at 26, I became the youngest promotions manager in Nigeria, the promotion manager of Polygram Records. And I did artist management. And 2 days ago, at the Artist Managers Association conference, I was given a Lifetime Achievement Award for the contribution I made in artist management 35 years ago.
It's fantastic. But the question still remains unanswered.
Yes.
The level of what can you leave a youth of today? Like you were conscious enough and focused to know what you wanted. Yes. You talked about the 22-year-old who doesn't know what a mentor is. How can we achieve that? Dr. Boniface, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
You heard the question I asked now. Can you lead us in that, because you are the oldest in our group now? How can what can we leave to the average Nigerian youth? I need them to understand this.
Well, I think that the crisis of youth in Nigeria is alarming. I'm not sure that it's being taken on board, the extent of the enormity of the challenge we have, particularly up north, where you have the Almajiri system and so on and so forth. And now it's being worsened, with the insecurity.
But don't forget, it's also in the south.
Well, yes, we have it in the south, but it's more of a problem.
They call them area boys.
Yes, more of a problem up north. So it's a big challenge, So you have 40% of people. You go to some places, you have more than 10 million, out of school children, they are not going to school and so on and so forth. And so they're going to pose a challenge for us going forward, because then they will come with the entitlement mentality to begin to take positions, and they're ill prepared, to occupy. And so you have it, it's already happening now. So you come from certain parts of the country, you come to the federal agency, they put you in a position because you crossed across and came to the federation, and they put you in a position, and then you know little or nothing about what you should do. And then those under you are much more knowledgeable. They know what to do. But then because you are there and, the ignorance is bliss, you are just carrying on and occupying the position and sharing benefits and so on. And the country is bleeding. And so
because we have less than 5 minutes to go, there are issues I would like to draw all our minds to. The National Assembly has 2 houses. House of Reps and the Senate. Yes. Then you have the executive and then the judiciary. The laws are made at the National Assembly. And then, because of that, we should expect that the National Assembly should be privy to how the youth is nurtured to become a viable contributor to the society. So how can we achieve that? Will these lecturers achieve it?
Exactly. That's what's one of the reasons for the lecture. We want to discuss, provide a platform where we can have discussions about how can we Nigerians be relatable to our leaders. How the National Assembly, we've invited members of the National Assembly. We want them to be there. We don't believe in preaching to the choir. And the members of the people who are involved, the present government, we've invited them to come, let them see and hear. How can we build a more united, more cohesive Nigeria? How can the common man's plea be heard? What are the desires of, as you talked about, the youth at that level? Why are their desires, their wants, their hopes, their aspirations not being considered by our legislator? Like you said, they are the ones who create the law. So until they come on board, we are just talking in circles. We're talking in circles. So that's one of the reasons for this lecture. We want to address Professor Patutom is going to be the keynote speaker. He was a brother-in-arms with my husband. They did this thing together. When they wanted to talk about the economic situation of the southern Nigeria, they organized the South-South Governors South-South Economic Forum, and then the South-South Governors Forum. And these are the kind of the vehicles that he created to address these issues. And so we're doing the same in the symposium. We have from across the Nigeria, we have Dr. Umar Ardo, we have Senator Sheikh Husani, and as well as some Southerners, and some South Southerners and some Westerners. Now all for one reason, to build a more cohesive Nigeria. I'm hoping that these things can be sorted out.
Okay, charity begins at home. And I'm happy. Thank you for singling me out, me and my wife. But then it is very interesting that sometimes we actually want to ask ourselves, where do you come from? In Nollywood movies, they say, when a man takes a young woman to meet his parents, who is your father?
Yeah. I could mention charity begins at home.
Right.
The way, I'll talk about maybe UK and America where I live. Parenting now is different from parenting in those days. So modern parenting, they will give their kids tablets, iPad, and all of that. When they are taking the kids to the school, they buy food at the eatery. A lot of parents don't have time to talk to their kids.
That's a whole
at 30,
topic.
When I was going to UK at 35, my mother said, "Oh, Dayo, Ekundayo, Ekundayo, Ekundayo. How many times did I call you? Remember the son of whom you are." That was the reason.
Very instructive one.
That was the reason why I can't imagine myself doing fraud or drug. I have a clean DBS record in UK, clean record. I can't just imagine. DBS is like a security check.
Okay.
And it's a very big thing. Before you can become anything in UK, you must have clean, no criminal record. Well, a lot of black people have criminal record. But I can't imagine myself doing that because I carry a lot of weight. I have a surname. That's why you mentioned, oh, they'll say, who's your parents? Because if your father is Oyenusi, you don't go there. Exactly. That person will even change their name.
Exactly.
One famous armed
So that's the reason why I talk about charity begins from home. How are we parenting? Okay. Do we, especially our kids, we need to change, we need to find a way to say, change your parenting and even work with our kids so that we can go back to the basics.
Okay, I need to end it now.
Very quickly, you talked about how civil society, engaging civil society, it was civil society coming together in the Save Nigeria group, which my husband convened, that now got President Jonathan now sworn in as acting president, when it seemed like they were not going to follow the rule of...
Who is civil society?
We are civil society. We are civil
Who
society.
are we?
You, me, and Dayo, and every other Nigerian.
That's a very big question, because you brought it up. Suddenly my eyes sparked in my mind's eye. Who is civil society? Where are they?
They've gone quiet of late.
Well, time is up. We have to round up, and maybe there will be another opportunity to really reminisce and converse, because this has been a conversation. Beautiful one.
Thank you.
The lecture is on the 6th of December, and it's at the NIA.
NIA and BI.
At the,
9 a.m. 9 a.m.
10 in the morning.
Everyone's invited.
Sorry again?
Everyone's invited. Captain of
Everyone is
industry.
invited, but
Everyone's
please come to NIA. I'm particularly touched by the fact that we're coming together to look at the whole essence of unity in diversity. And then, of course, there's a big 60 life lessons for success and significance. I like that. And that's Dr. Dayo Olomu.
And it's available as River Heights in Lagos now.
That advert. So, Mrs. By the way, I didn't introduce her properly. She's a broadcast journalist of Channels TV, Baarong Tony-Uranta. I'm not going to hear on the blue grammar for it, but now I'm interviewing you. And my dear sir, my great friend, Dr. Boniface Chizea, our powerhouse. Thank you, sir. It's been a great evening, and I hope we've all given our little widow's mite, as it were, to your knowledge. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you.